So the days are getting shorter, it's darker, it's getting colder. Winter's definitely here. But there is still harvest to be had in winter. And today I'm going to show you what brassicas that I keep growing over the winter time, and it's going to keep me fed over the winter. So, why don't you have a look to see what I'm growing? If you're not growing them this year, why not try them next year? First of all, let's go and have a look in the polytunnel. So in here, I've got some kale, and there's some younger kale that I sowed later in the year. As an experiment, I'm going to try and bring them on through the winter. Obviously, they're going to be a lot slower growing. Now, this kale, scarlet kale, this was outside, and I actually transplanted this successfully in a few weeks ago and popped it in here, and it's doing really well. But the main things I've got is, apart from the kales, I've got my purple sprouting broccoli. Now, these don't need to be inside, but the plan is just to give them a little bit of extra protection for the winter, and hopefully get an earlier harvest in the springtime. And I've got a couple more here. And I can even use the lower leaves on these to feed myself during the winter as well, like you can with all brassicas. I've also got kalette plant here, which is one of my smaller ones that I transplanted in here as well. I can get some harvest from this. We've got some small kalettes coming, the actual flower sprouts coming there, but obviously I can still use the leaves as well. So yeah, if you're not using your polytunnel or greenhouse over the winter, why not consider that maybe for next year? Now, I usually grow cabbages over the winter, Savoy cabbage, but I've had a bit of a fail. And slug damage. So there's nothing really grown. I've just got a couple of greyhound and primo cabbages that were spare that I've managed to rescue from the slugs, and they're in the polytunnel. But I'll show you where I normally would put my winter cabbages. Instead, I've got some cover crops in here at the moment. So last year I had them in these two end beds, which are generally my brassica beds. As I say, there's cover crops in there at the moment. There's some broad beans and field beans in there. But yeah, last year I had some Savoy cabbage and just any sort of spring cabbages as well. Anything that's going to be good for overwintering. And that's normally what I could use for some winter harvest as well. Now, do you grow perennial kale? I'll show you what I've got. I've got an Asturian tree cabbage and a Taunton Dean kale. Now, this is my Taunton Dean, and it's outgrowing. I keep bringing this net up. I should hopefully solve this problem by next spring, because I'm aiming to get a brassica cage on the plot, which will be a lot more helpful and user-friendly. But yeah, I can harvest from this all winter, and this will keep me going. This will feed me. And this is obviously perennial. It'll last a few years, and then I'll take some cuttings from it next year. So we'll just keep that going, that cycle going. Asturian tree cabbage, again, I can harvest these leaves continually. And these Cavolo Nero, although they're not perennial, they last a long, long time. And I've got some good leaves on there. So I've got 4 plants here, mature plants from this year, and they'll overwinter brilliantly. And I can pull some good harvest from them. And I absolutely love this Cavolo Nero style kale. If you've never grown it before, why not give it a try? So I've got some great sprouts here. I'm really pleased with these this year. I've got the Bosworth and the Brendan F1. And they're doing really, really well. So some are still yet to get a little bit bigger, but I have got some larger ones. But the good thing about these is, obviously, we're coming up to Christmas as well. That's traditional time for sprouts, but obviously these will keep going. This is plenty for me to keep harvesting from as soon as they become ready throughout the winter, and they're perfectly hardy. Again, you can eat the leaves as well, so this is going to feed me. Now, another great kale that I wouldn't be without. Say I've been harvesting quite a lot of bits from these. Believe it or not, this is a dwarf curly green kale. However, I tend to find that these do go quite tall. Again, bursting out the netting. But yeah, these are fantastic. I really just love kale anyway, and all different types. And then we've got the scarlet curly kale here as well, which I've tried for the first time this year. So yeah, again, more kales keep you going, perfectly hardy throughout the winter. Now, these are my Kalettes, and they have performed fantastically well for me this year. This is the first time I've ever grown them, and they are part of my grow along, which is the Kalette Crazy 2023. Fantastic. I find lots of the different flower sprouts that you can pull off. You can get them a little bit bigger, so they're like mini little kales, or you can have them when they're smaller. And the leaves are really fantastic as well. I do find that I really enjoy these, and they are a cross between the taste of a Brussels sprout and kale, I'd say. Obviously, that is where they've crossed. That's where the Kalettes come from, which is a kale and a Brussels sprout cross. But yeah, they are really, really fantastic, and these again are going to feed me throughout the winter time as well. So, Kalette Crazy 2023, as the year draws to an end. The grow along has drawn to an end, so it is December now, so we are coming to the end of the grow along, and I would really, really like to thank everyone who's got involved in growing these. Do let me know in the comments below if you've enjoyed growing them, if you've been doing the grow along, or what you think of Kalettes in general. And I've asked some of my YouTube friends who were participating in the grow along just to give me their final thoughts. So let's hear from some of them.
Good afternoon. I've been asked by Will to do an update on the Kalettes. They are still alive. They survived the cold. Some of them have fallen over. I keep putting them on the frame, but the frames aren't strong enough. I keep waiting for those to grow a bit bigger. Now, we did eat some of the leaves of the Kalette where they were quite big. But lately, you see those little leaves there at the top? There, we have been taking some of those, and they are nicer. We don't regret growing them because you made us discover a new veg we've never heard of before. So thank you, Will. Thank you for having us on the Kalette updates. See you soon. Bye.
My Kalettes have been an absolute delight from start to finish. Something I would never have thought of growing, so thank you so much, Will, for the suggestion and the grow along challenge. They've been relatively easy to grow. I started them off in the polytunnel and then I popped them out in here. To be honest with you, I kind of left them to their own devices. So apart from having had them under the hoops, which were netted to protect them from the butterflies and pests, and I've also controlled a little bit, as much as I could, the slug population, they've actually thrived. Their colour is just phenomenal, and I'll get you in a bit closer to see them, but they're absolutely gorgeous. A real lush purple and dark green. And one of the things I'm absolutely loving about them is that you can pretty much eat the whole plant. So we've got these gorgeous leaves, the larger leaves. As they emerge at the top, we've got these smaller ones, and then the Kalettes growing up the stalk. So just look how beautiful they are. And then if we get down, you can see the little Kalettes, kind of like flowery Brussels sprouts growing up the stem. So they get an absolute 10 out of 10 for me, not just for the taste test, but for the whole experience. They've been great to grow. They're absolutely beautiful in the garden. They haven't needed a huge amount of maintenance, and the end result is delicious.
Hi Will, it's Emma from the Garden of Emma. So I just wanted to give you a quick update today on the Kalettes for the Kalette Crazy 2023 grow along that you have been hosting this year. So let's go to take a look at them and see how they are doing. So the one thing I didn't know about Kalettes was how tall that they grew. These have grown absolutely massive. But I have got some little Kalettes here, which I'm really pleased with. These have been attacked a little bit by the whitefly, but it doesn't seem to have done any damage. And the leaves are a lovely green colour. So thank you so much for inviting me to the Grow Along. I hope you do another one in the future, because I have enjoyed this one, I have to say. And I look forward to seeing what you have planned for 2024. Bye now.
Will from the Flying Gardener had asked me to do an update on the Kalette crazies to see whether we would grow them again. Would we grow them again? Probably. But I never say I'm not gonna, and I never say I will. They're very similar to just growing kale, and kale's much faster to grow. They take up a lot of space, and they're very much like Brussels sprouts, so they're slow. They take a long time to grow, and they also take up a lot of space. I didn't top mine fast enough, and I should have, and they got to almost 4 feet tall, so they were a bit high. Steamed, sauteed with some garlic and olive oil, oh, delicious. They were fabulous to eat. But never say never. I might grow them again. We'll see what Will comes up with for his challenge next year. Have a great day. Bye. Thanks again, Will.
Hi, it's Robin, and I'm not in my Chicagoland garden. I happen to be in Sedona, Arizona. We finally were able to go on vacation because my garden at home has been put to bed about 3 weeks now. Will asked me to give you an update about the Kalette Crazy Challenge and how it went for me. It went really well, except I don't have a long enough season in Chicagoland. Got them out right away in spring as healthy, good-sized transplants and grew them right through till the snow fell about 2 inches on Halloween. But it just wasn't enough time. But we did get to taste them. They are delicious, especially sauteed with a little garlic. A few other ways we did them as well were tasty. But I don't think I'll be doing them again simply because I don't have a long enough season like you do in the UK and can grow on into the winter. Well, thanks so much for having me on your channel.
Just been harvesting some more of those delicious Kalettes. So thanks again everyone who joined in with the Grow Along. Thanks to all my YouTube friends, and you know, if you have enjoyed it, please do let me know. I hope this has given you a good idea of what you can be growing over the winter time. If you've not done it this year, maybe try it next year. There's some fantastic kales, perennial kales, Kalettes, sprouts. You know, there's lots and lots of different things. The actual flower sprouts themselves, or the Brussels sprouts, or even the leaves on things. You know, there's plenty to keep you going through a British winter. So, hope that's given you some good ideas. My name's Will. You have been watching The Flying Gardener.